What is going on there, everyone? Well, there is another kink in the wheel for Google. Yep. I tell you what, the big tech oligarchy is probably sweating bullets at this time. As we know, the Justice Department is preparing uh, to investigate Google for antitrust violations. Well, here's another situation from the Daily Wire. Democratic presidential candidate Tulsi Gabbard files massive lawsuit against Google. Now, what's bad about her doing this is she's one of the more sane people on the left. She's not a leftist, so to say. She's more centered. She has some leftish policies that I can't stand. But when it comes to her foreign policy and all that, I really like her. She has a respectable background and all that. I would not vote for her because she's a Democrat, but she's one of the Democrats' better options. Will she go forward far? Probably not, because they're not looking for that. They're in reality, real Democrats, people that aren't in politics, probably would love someone like her. But as we all have seen, the big politicians, most other presidential candidates from the left, are catering to the far left, the 8 to 10% of the party. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. But let's get into the story here. Democratic presidential candidate Representative Tulsi Gabbard filed a federal lawsuit on Thursday that seeks at least $50 million from Google. That's a lot of money, but it's a drop in the bucket for Google. Gabbard alleges that the tech giant infringed on her free speech after it suspended her campaign's advertising account in the aftermath of the first Democratic presidential debate, which she was one of the few sane-looking people on the whole stage, may I say. And there were still things that she said and did that I didn't care for, but I'm a conservative. What can you do? The lawsuit, filed on Thursday in a federal court in Los Angeles, is believed to be the first time a presidential candidate has sued a major technology firm, the New York Times reported. Tulsi Now Inc. Oh, okay, that's, I guess, the name of her campaign. Tulsi Now Incorporated, the campaign committee for Miss Gabbard, said Google suspended the campaign's advertising account for 6 hours on June 27th and June 28th, obstructing its ability to raise money and spread her message to potential voters. The Times further noted that following Gabbard's appearance during the first Democrat presidential debate, she was the most searched for candidate on the search engine. And there you can see a little bit of why Google's doing this, because Google is they're run and controlled by the far left progressives, regressives. And she's not that. But I mean, come on, you even have people like the far left-ish Elizabeth Warren coming out against Google and these big tech companies. The fact of the matter is everyone sees that these big tech giants are a problem. The problem with that is we don't know the solution. That's where the real problem is. We don't know what the solution needs to be with these companies. But they're on it now. The feds are on it now, so it's kind of out of everybody else's hands, and it's going to be in big government's hands, which can always be a little bit scary. I'm not a big fan of big government. Her campaign wanted to capitalize on the attention she was receiving by buying ads that would have placed its website at the top of search results for her name, the Times added. The lawsuit also said that Gabbard campaign believed its emails were being placed in spam folders on Gmail at a disproportionately high rate when compared with emails from other Democratic candidates. I wouldn't know. Like I said, I can't say for sure because the only candidates and stuff I get is from the right. It's kind of, how the creepy algorithms figure you out. Yeah, well, they know I'm on the right. So they send me a bunch of Donald Trump stuff, which is fun. It's always fun to hear what he has to rant about. The U.S. Department of Justice, DOJ, announced this week that it is opening an antitrust probe of big tech companies and that it will examine practices of online platforms that dominate internet search, social media, and retail services, CNBC reported. Without the discipline of meaningful market-based competition, digital platforms may act in ways that are not responsive to consumer demands, said Assistant Attorney General Macon Del Rio of Antitrust Division. The department's antitrust review will explore these important issues. The Wall Street Journal reported that companies the DOJ will be looking into include Facebook, Google, Amazon, and Apple. Now, from my own personal experience, Facebook, Google, and Apple all are really in the deep of the problem. Amazon, not as much. Sure, Bezos owns a few news agencies, and yes, they like to prop up the left-wing agenda harder than anything else. But it doesn't seem that Amazon is going as far as these other companies. Google and Facebook are just awful. And I'm surprised. I don't know why they don't have Twitter on there. I mean, Jack Dorsey, he created a monster, and now it doesn't seem that he actually knows what his monster's doing at any particular time. I'm pretty sure he has someone else running it, and he's just there as a face. He seems really disconnected from it now. He's just raking in the money. But Facebook and Google, and to an extent Apple, but Facebook and Google, we all know that they are clearly biased against conservatives or even centrist Democrats. They don't like the centrist people. Here recently, there's been a big influx of centrist being taken down by Google and Facebook. So, pretty much, yeah, there is a big issue here. And I know people on the left are going to say the same old constant thing, but these are private companies. They can do what they want. Should they be allowed to do that? Should they be, when they're acting as a group, shouldn't they be considered more of a group, like they're almost a monopoly? Yeah, we got problems with these companies. But I think having Tulsi Gabbard do this lawsuit is going to just further the government's will to go after these companies for what they're doing, because they are silencing people. They are banning people that just, according to them, have wrong think. You know, if you don't agree, you're not with me type of deal. It's ridiculous. But like I said, with someone as high profile as Tulsi Gabbard coming out, and she's actually a pretty sane person, a sane face on the left, maybe this will do some good for everybody. Maybe it'll do some good for everybody. At least do good for the people that aren't the extremists. Because like I said, these companies are propping up the extreme. They're not, I mean, and they're silencing all the moderates. And that's terrifying when you think about it. Because when you take away the moderate voices, all you are left with is to hear the extreme rhetoric of the more extreme people, which in turn is going to make your thoughts end up going more towards the extreme, because that's what you're surrounding yourself with, which is bad. But I think this is very interesting, and I think there's going to be a lot more to this story coming out. I'm going to start following this pretty closely, and we'll see what happens from here. I'd love to hear your comments on it, whether you think, oh, Google and them, they are private companies, they should be able to do what they please. And I'd love to hear a leftist say that, because then I got a pretty funny argument. But yeah, as always, like, share, subscribe. I will catch you on the flip side.